So anyway, just so everyone knows, over 4 billion data records were leaked on the internet. So if you think your information is safe in the internet, forget it.
Dave, can you give me hosting so I can share or something so I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
share
yeah. I'm gonna make you a host now.
some
Okay,
kind
so
of a
there's a stream going, and let's make Rasada host. Hey Jerry, nice to see you. All right. David Wright, are you going to be here for the full session?
David, first things first, I've got to earn an income, so I probably only can make the first hour of the three, to be honest.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Charlie, will you be here?
Oh, I'm here.
All right,
Oh,
so
I'm here.
I'm gonna make you the co-host. Oh shit, I can't do that anymore now. Rasada has to. So Rasada, I suggest you set up a co-host just in case for some reason the lines drop or something.
Yeah.
David, Charlie co-host. Admit.
Hey Anessa.
Good to see you, Paulo.
Thanks, Rasada. Hi.
Hey.
Katie from Raw. And then we got P from Cape Town.
Hello, everybody. Good
Hello,
morning.
hello.
Cool. P from Cape Town with her cat's tail that's kind of going across
Yeah.
the stream. All right. So, Rasada, you good to go? Yeah, I need to jump.
Are you leaving us?
Yeah, I've got a group I need to
Don't
get.
leave me, Dave. Come back, come back. Don't leave me. Okay.
Okay, I can stick around for 10 minutes, but then I'm gonna
No,
have
you go.
to.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's
Yeah,
better when he's not here.
yeah, definitely. Oh, and by the way, everyone, it was Charlie's birthday yesterday.
Ah,
Hey, happy
Happy
birthday.
Happy birthday,
birthday.
Charlie!
thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, David.
Charlie, we have a saying in South Africa. It's like you're a puss for not telling anyone.
Yeah.
Hey, there's Nick.
Hi, David.
Okay, come on. Hey, you got some big guns coming in here, Asada. This is fantastic.
Cool, cool.
All right. All right, everyone. Good luck.
Thanks.
Rasada, thank you so much for putting this on and everything. You always gift the world with your wisdom. And Charlie, well done for making this happen. May this be your birthday gift of yeah, something that you can cherish forever. All right, everyone.
Thanks,
See you
David.
later. Bye.
Cheers, Dave.
Cheers, David.
Welcome, everybody. There's a few faces I don't know, yeah. Welcome. So I just go through some practicals and we check in and we see where we go today, yeah. So we see what the container needs. Right now, maybe wait 2 minutes to see who else is coming. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
So for me, I need questions and feedback and like interaction, and then I can share what I can share a whole lot easier. And I also need some level of like willingness and vulnerability that you guys can bring some things to work with. Otherwise, it's just all theory. And to do that, we need to check that everyone feels safe. So you know it's being recorded. I think David set it up to record.
Mhm.
And I think I could pause recording if anyone asked, but that recording I asked that it's only shared internally. But I don't even see that it's being recorded, so I don't know how David does that. I don't think it's being recorded. So there's the recording and what we need to feel safe, and just the idea is that it's 3 hours, and maybe we do like an hour 15 and then half an hour or 20-minute break, and then do the rest. So we can stay a little focused and then
Mhm.
have a decent break and keep going, yeah? Recording, questions, break. Yeah, and while we check in, if there's anything you need to ask me or to ask the group to feel safe enough, please bring that, eh? And I guess for me, what's helpful is I like to have someone who's supervising me or just checking that I don't get hysterical or think I know it all. So who wants to supervise me? That someone just can call my shit.
I'd love to call your shot, Rasada.
Great, Charlie. Thank you for that. Yeah, I think that's the intro. I check in a little anxious and excited and really curious. And let's see where we go. And I'll pass it to Emma.
Thanks, Rasada. I'm excited. I can't wait to learn more about the trauma and relate it to myself as well as situations that I'll be dealing with. Yeah, so I'm excited, and I'll tag Katie.
Thank you, Emma. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. It's something I've been doing some stuff on in my personal life, so this is really going to feed into it as well. Really looking forward to seeing where this goes today. And I'll tag Nick.
Thank you, Katie. Yeah, I'm curious, intrigued. I can't wait to see what's unfolding. I have no idea what lies ahead. I don't know what the agenda looks like. So I'm here to learn and to try and you know add value where I can as well. And I will tag David.
Thank you, Nick. Morning, everybody. I'm checking in. Yeah, I'm feeling curious. I'm eager to learn. This lovely learning environment that we have on an ongoing basis is just wonderful. And like Nick, I'm keen to offer contributions where I can. And nice to see some faces from the past like Ioana. So I'll tag Ioana.
Hi, everybody. I'm also curious to see what's going to happen today. And I'm happy to be here and also see some old faces. I'm checking in calm. I'm tagging Camila. Sorry, Camila.
Hi. I'm not a morning person, so I'm going to wake up on here. I'm also just sort of coming to this call, to the workshop with no idea what's coming next. So I'm open, curious, and a little bit nervous, to be honest, but good nerves. Excited to learn. Thank you. Oh, I've got a tag. Abby.
Thank you, Camilla. Yeah, I've been looking forward to this. Having done several trauma-informed things before. One was heavily under a Christian organisation. The others were just normal. But I know Rasada's going to be the best. No pressure, Rasada. No, I love him. He's a great guy. It's nice to see my usual little recovery tribe on here. It's nice to see all your faces. Missed you, Emma. So yeah, feeling excited, bit apprehensive, but like a good excitement, and just eager to learn. Just hope my pen doesn't give out on me because I usually have a spare with me, but being not at home, I'm not as prepared. Anyway, love and light, and I tag. I can't see the names of the people at the bottom. Oh no, she's been Rabson. Have you been Coach Rabson in Zambia?
Not yet. I haven't yet checked in. And thank you very much, Abby, for pointing out that I haven't checked in. Yeah, this is Coach Rapson Banda checking in from Africa. Yeah, to be specific. And I'm checking in feeling excited. Yeah, and expectant of the things that are going to be shared on this call, on this container, especially regarding trauma informed and how trauma is really a good thing for us to just expose ourselves to. Yeah, so I'm checking in with that excitement and I'm going to tag. Oh, wow. And I'm going to tag Stephanie. Stephanie, have you already gone?
No.
Have you already checked in?
Good morning, everyone. Stephanie, I am checking in very curious, very excited, and hopeful that I will be able to stay for the duration of the time. And I am tagging Paula.
Thank you, Stephanie. Yeah, I was flying this morning, and as the container was starting to fill up, there was this wave of anxiety that hit me. I've got no idea why. But as the people have been checking in, that wave has retreated again. So yeah, I'm very curious about that and what's going on there. But I'm very glad to be here and looking forward to the session. And I'll take P from Cape Town.
Thank you, Paolo. I'm Paula, and I'm checking in also open-minded because I have no clue what's in store. And also, I feel it's good timing. I've really felt the weight of the world this week. So I feel I need some empowerment to handle all, and I feel this is a place to be. And I'll tag Charlie. Thank you.
Thanks, Paula. I'm feeling, I've been on the beach this morning training my bum off, so I'm feeling very grounded. And then I had to rush back and get a quick shower, some quick toast. But I'm feeling really excited. I've been feeling excited since this trauma course was announced, and a couple of weeks ago. So I'm really looking forward to getting going. I feel like this trauma development is the next part of my development on my learning. So I'm really curious and really excited to get going. Um, is Bruno in the room? Bruno from Uganda.
Good morning. My name is Bruno. I am from Uganda. I am checking in with excitement, looking forward to what I am going to take home out of this container. And I am tagging. I
I
don't
think
know
it's
whom to
just
tag.
Anna and Jerry. I don't know anyone else. But...
There's
All right,
Roger, Anna, Anissa, and Jerry.
tagging Anna.
So was that me?
Yeah.
That's you, Anna.
Hi. Good morning, everyone. I'm still getting my coffee because I'm going to be very grumpy otherwise, but I'm very excited to be here. Yeah, that's it really. Just really excited, really grateful. So looking forward to it.
Welcome, welcome. Let me call Roger.
Hi there, good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm checking in blessed. Still a bit sick, and yeah,
I'm just very excited and to find out more about the group now today. And yeah, I'll tag Jerry.
So Jerry.
I think he dropped off. It's just Anissa.
Okay. So Anissa's, I know, is on the road. So maybe she can put her mic on and say hello. And Roselle,
Hi, I don't
welcome.
know if you guys can hear me. Yeah, so I'm on the road. I'm traveling the highways in South Africa, but I appreciate being part of the group and the fact that I'm able to just sit in and listen in. Thank you so much.
Roselle, you're up. Welcome in the middle of a time. Eh?
I'm so sorry, man, for being late. Just got in from
perfect.
just got in from a beautiful bike ride, watching the sunset at 6:15 in the evening. Australia, we're coming into winter. My face is feeling a bit cold, but I'm feeling strong. I'm happy. Really, I'm actually a bit hungry. I need to eat something. I haven't had lunch yet. Like crazy, huh? I'm a bit upside down under. But yeah, the spirit is strong. Yeah, I'm good. Thanks.
Welcome.
How long is the session, Rasada?
We got till 3 hours, and we're speaking about going till 1:15 and maybe having half an hour break or 20-minute break, and then finish the rest.
So you just started 15 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry, you want to check in?
Thank you.
Thanks. All right. So let me start somewhere while Jerry finds his voice. Basically, please, if anyone wants to ask or say anything, come in. I thought I'd start with just a little acknowledgement of what we've got. And the last thing I want to say is it really helps if people's cameras are on, just to make it more interactive or that I can feel you guys. But sometimes I know you've got to switch them off. So I'm imagining in my mind you've all done the coaching training, and I just want to walk through a little bit something that the coaching training gives us all that's a good grounding for working with trauma. Huh? So a little background. Can you all see two peacocks?
Yes.
Yep.
Can I ask you, Charlie, to let people in if they, so I can do this? You can see people.
Of
Cool.
course. Of course.
So I've been working probably 20 years at the Foundation Rehab in Johannesburg, doing once a week or twice a week a mixture of meditation, trauma healing, and family constellation sessions. And this is the rehab that's looking outside from the receptionist office. And there's a temple down the road. In the last few years, these peacocks have moved in, and they're really beautiful. The peacocks, they give us a lot of joy and delight. And then there's a room where I do my sessions in two. There's a big room downstairs and a smaller room upstairs. And on the wall here, we've got this culture of learning, culture of addiction, culture of recovery. And down the side of that culture of learning are the 5 basic elements that I understand from David are the foundation of the coaching training. And here they are in more detail. Culture of learning. I'm curious if all of you have seen this or none of you have seen this or know about it. But these 5 symbols, anyone never heard of it?
I haven't seen these symbols, but I'm only early on in the training at the moment.
Anyway, I just go through them because they relate so strongly to how to work with trauma as well as coaching. So the first one is listening, and this deep listening. And I think the strongest part of this listening that we need to kind of as someone who works with trauma, is this mix of 80-20 or 70-30, but that more of you is listening to you than to the client. More of you is actually in your own body, tracking your own state, stable and grounded, or upset, or whatever your state is, that you know your own state. Yeah, this is like really, it's one of the few essential foundations. And then there's the listening to the client, and listening to the client there's the words, but there's so much about the body and the tone and the gestures that you're watching. So the words become a little less important for me. They're absolutely essential and important and need to be acknowledged, but there's a whole lot more that you're doing deep listening with. And then more and more, my training is to listen to the team, to the room, to the group, to the field, to the greater whole, as part of what's happening. Because we're not only my little trauma, your trauma, we're in this world of trauma. And we need to keep including this and understanding its impact. So Paolo's little check-in was, suddenly I was shaky. Was it me? Was it him? Was it us? Where's this thing happening from? That we can listen to that. So it's just again, it's like we could spend a day just working on listening. We could spend a life working on listening, exercising that. And when I say 80-20, do people understand what I'm saying? A little more. Yeah? Because the thing about trauma is it's very attractive. It's got a pull. There's a trauma vortex, we call it. It's got a seduction. I got this, and now I got it even worse, and we get sucked in very quickly. Yeah. So the ability to watch that vortex, that pull, and not be sucked in is a primary ongoing skill. Okay, let me go on. The second one is this continuum. And the continuum is again an essential skill of listening to meeting people where they are and looking for polarity, basically. You're looking for polarity. So sometimes someone can come and say, I'm heartbroken. And you can say, what's the opposite of heartbroken? Just to find that opposite. And then to work on that movement between those opposites. This is more and more what I'm learning about, is working with the polarity, the continuum, and being able to accept where they are on that continuum and support it, and also support movement on that continuum. So none of this is new to you, but it's important reminders, an ongoing reminder of watching that, working with polarity. And I can talk more to it, but I'll go on. So the next thing is the system. And the system for me, whether it's work, family, home, business, the system is more and more I understand that it's our approach to a system. So even our body's a system. You've got many systems. Your body's a visual system, reproductive system, respiratory system. You've got 20-something systems here. And there's some guidelines or laws or rules around working with systems and how we approach them and how we with them. So if I decide any of my systems is no good, or it's bad, or I don't want it, or the whole body goes to, yeah. If I reject any system, I'm in trouble. Yeah. So this knowing of how to approach a system, how to bow to the strength and power of a system, and how to know our place in the system, and how to know when it's not ours to touch or impact, and a lot of it's about a certain respect that we need in the system. Someone asked me something, tell me something, so I know you're there. Go for it, Charlie. I think you were going to say something.
No. I think it's I'm just taking notes. I've seen all this in MSc that I've been studying for the last 7 years. So, but it's I'm really good about the polarity of the continuums. I had never heard that. I just thought it was a straight man line. I didn't know there was opposites man as well. So
Yeah.
that's just something that I've just picked up
Yeah.
there. But I'm scribbling notes as you write. So thanks very much.
Great. Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree with
Go for it,
Charlie.
Katie.
Sorry, I agree with Charlie. I really liked that polarity where you can really get in the work there and actually look for specifics and that opposites. Yeah, that was a really good point for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you'll see that, or we'll bring it in.
Yeah, and also the Rasada, just for me, it's a shift that happened for me a while ago, and I just kind of see and kind of observe myself carrying on that in that direction is around the system, and I just look for systems everywhere all the time. And I mean, and like you're saying, it's everywhere. I mean, I even if I pop off down to the checkers, I mean, me, the other people in the center while I'm there, the cashiers, that's all the system. So I just kind of I suppose there's a conscious component and maybe an unconscious one where I'm just always looking for systems because I'm discovering it's just everywhere, all the time.
And this thing of approach, I think sometimes we make ourselves too small or too big in a system. Like I'm the trauma expert. I know, and I've got I know fuck all. I know very little, or I know something, but how do I stand here as someone who's been studying trauma a lot? And how do I approach it that it's so sensitive, that it needs some strength? There's a whole lot of things here that need honoring, yeah, and listening to. Yeah. And we can go further in it. So the fourth one is the bodies, so this emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, or the IQ, EQ. And more I'm making this about a gross body, subtle body, collective changing body, collective unchanging body, which is a beautiful map that I can get to later. But the awareness and the fluidness between these bodies. It's like I'm emotional and I'm just emotional, but actually I'm also physical, I'm also mental, I'm also spiritual, and how to be more fluid in these bodies and how to support them. Noticing in trauma, people get very stuck in one body and totally disidentify with some or totally identify with one of them. And again, there's a holding of them, an honoring of them, and a fluidity with them that needs, and it needs your own practice. It's like all these points, there's me, there's the client, and there's the collective, yeah? And we've got to get it inside us that we can work within our own bodies easily and not be stuck in our own bodies or too identified. And the last one is this container, and more for me, it's like the masculine and the feminine principle. And it's also I'm calling it the sword and the rose, or that I come here with a certain strength and clarity, but I come here with a certain holding. Yeah. And that strength and clarity and holding is like an ongoing move that you're with. You're really listening with the client and totally giving them direction and letting them lead the way. And you also need to be directive sometimes. You need to be able to say, no, hold back, or let's be this, let's look at this, that there's a movement there that we can't be afraid of, to hold and to direct. Yeah. And it's all of that's around our timing. So it's very foundational, but it's for I think you guys can hear for coaching and for trauma work and for life, these 5 things that David's really built on to this culture of learning. So I sit in this room every day, or every two times a week, and that's what I'm looking at and keeps reminding me to stay awake to these things. And that's the view from the room. So there's this unbelievable garden, and there's a huge there's a river just below there, and there's a whole lot of street people who bath in the river and burn things in the river, and it's quite a dynamic happening when you stand there. The peacocks, the street people, the river, the birds. It's a beautiful place to hang out. And there's another peacock, and this one was showing off for me. Then I took the pictures. All right, let me come back to the room.
Paolo's just entered. I don't know if she wants to
Say
check in.
again? Yeah,
Paolo's
please.
just
You
entered the
want to
room.
check in?
Hi, good morning. Apologies for running this late and disturbing the container, but I am checking in with joy and glad to be here. Thank you.
Okay, welcome, welcome. Maybe I can gather 1 or 2 questions around trauma. So as I talk to the next phase, I can address some questions. Whether it's around working or whatever, any questions you're coming with, you all came here for something. Maybe just some of you can name what you came for regarding trauma.
I'll go.
Camilla? Yeah,
I'm
Nick.
just interested to know to what extent we actually address trauma, because coaching is forward focused, right? It's not therapy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I have done counseling courses and things like that, so I do wear 2 hats. But in terms of wearing your coaching hat, it's a question of how much do you unpack, how much do you go there in terms of the trauma? Is it just identifying triggers and how you're coping with them, and then sorting out a plan of action moving forward?
Yeah, it's a beautiful question, eh? It's a beautiful question. So holding the trauma within the coaching model, eh?
Yeah.
Also, Rasada, if you don't mind me interrupting, it's how we respond to that trauma.
Exactly. I mean, my answer is these 5 points. Really, some of it really helps, and then I'm going to talk to a few other things. But really, these 5 points give you the capacity to respond and not react.
Yeah.
Well, they build on that. But I can say some more how we respond. I mean, even if it's just staying 80% in my body, then I'm already I'm not reacting. Yeah. I'm holding something in me and waiting and listening. Rabson, bring your question, my friend.
Oh yes. In relation to what Coach Nick has just mentioned, I wanted to find out, is this training called trauma coaching?
You know, really, I'm not a coach. So the idea was Charlie who said to me, please just share some more about trauma. So I'm here sharing more about trauma. How we integrate it is a good question. But I think somewhere it's valid and important that I'll speak to now, that we can't get future focused if the client is stuck and holding on. So we need to address a certain amount of the trauma to just get clients to move, yeah? Or we need to understand what's keeping them stuck so they can move. So I think that's where I'll focus when I'm listening to these questions. Camilla, you wanted to ask the question?
Well, actually, different question now,
Yeah.
because you got on. So I'd like to come back to the 80/20. Would that be okay?
Yeah, with pleasure.
So you're saying that in order to work with trauma, we need to be we really need to know where we are at ourselves. Is that what you're saying? Kind of be very conscious of our where we are at in that moment.
Physically, emotionally, mentally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the 20% is over there with the client.
Yeah. And sometimes it's 70, but the moment you've gone 49, 51, you're now in the client's business to the extent that
Yeah.
there's no one here. And when you're sitting with trauma and there's no one here, you start to feel anxious.
Yes, now I can relate to that.
That's the point, yeah. Is you're dealing with complex situations, and
Yeah.
when you're in the complex situation and there's no one looking after this system,
Yeah. 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 I
then
mean,
we start to
original
shake and we start to, sorry, I'm listening.
Sorry, no, I was just saying my original question really was, I've done a lot of trauma training. I couldn't call myself a trauma therapist, but I've done lots of workshops in IFS and somatic stuff and various things about working with trauma. But one of the reasons I've come today is because I'm not a trauma therapist. Because I'm a coach, I always end up feeling a bit less than really, and a bit sort of, am I really skilled enough to do this work, I guess. There's an element of doubt in myself about it. So it's really, I just wanted to come and learn and see what you.
It's beautiful to know our skill set, basically, that there's times where I have to say, I don't know how to do your future focus. I can hold you with your past. There's like where our strengths are and support them. But I'm sure it sounds like you've got the strengths to hold it, huh?
Let's hope.
Cool, cool. Paula, you wanted to say, I can see you nodding there in Cape Town. No, you're listening. All right. Anyone else with hands raised?
So I wanted
Roselle, you've
to
got
ask.
a question.
Sorry.
Roselle sorry, they're the hands on top. Rosella and Paula.
Oh, thanks, Rasada. I'm trying to figure out how to use the phone app. I've put up the hand. So my question is around the metacognition around the trauma. So understanding the trigger, me understanding my own triggers, then getting the 80/20, which we just talked about, and then getting into that the transference of the negative transference of energy within that conversation or that connection with however that trauma has been acted out or played out. At what point do we know that we've actually dealt with our trauma? I think about the charge and I think about the recovery time. Like, how quickly does it take me to recover from that trigger? And so I'm just kind of wondering, like, what are the milestones that I have to meet to know, oh yeah, I've dealt with that now. I'm done. All right, I'm strong. I don't need to re-traumatize that wound again. It's just something that I've experienced. I kind of hate the onion. It's like peeling the onion thing. I don't really get the onion thing. For me, it's just like I freaking will take all the skin off the onion and I eat it. So I'm like, So I suppose the question is about the onion. Do you know what, Rasada? I don't even know what my question is. I think it's about.
I heard something. I got something clear there.
You did? Well, if you're
Yeah.
clear, I'm not. I'm as clear as mud around this because, I'm in a constant state of trauma, and I'm thinking like, wow, when am I ever going to get better? Or am I better? Or have I, where do I get to the top of Mount Everest? with my trauma,
Okay.
or will I ever get there? Or will ever just continually keep growing? So I don't know what I've brought now. So that's
Yeah, let's
me.
work with it. Let's bring something.
How do I put
All
my
right,
hand
so I want to
down?
bring two more tools while I try. You're okay, Paolo, if I just keep going, or you've got something important? Yeah. Let me go on and please come in if we need to address something. So there's two main, it's like those 5 tools that we've got behind us, inside us, practicing them. And then there's 2 main tools I want to bring to the party. There's a comment or something. Got it. New chats. Roger, I got bad signal, so I'll leave my camera off for now. Thanks, Roger. So the one main tool I work with is awareness. It's like I've got this practice of meditation, but fundamentally, trauma is the biology and what's happening in the biology, and we'll talk to that now and see the biology. But there's 2 things. There's biology and there's awareness. Or awareness, presence, there's awareness. It's like you can go to the dentist and have it, and they can be working on your tooth, yeah? And there's a point where you're lying there and I can be with this. The biology is fine, but there's an awareness that's watching what's happening. And then there's a point where the biology kicks in and it doesn't matter how aware you are, you're saying, give me the shot, yeah? So these 2 streams of awareness and biology are fundamentally essential kind of understanding what you're looking at. You're looking at the client and you're seeing and noticing your own and their awareness, and you're seeing and noticing your own and their biology. Yeah. And the practice of awareness, what it means, how to develop it, is a couple of lives of practice, but it's essential we start and work on that. Yeah, whether it's for coaching, life, trauma, that's understanding that my body's in pain, but I'm not. Yeah, there's something bigger than the trauma, than the trauma. There's something wiser. There's something we're bigger than our identification. There's like trauma's a lot of identification with something, or a lot of fragmentation with something. And awareness can hold the picture. Yeah. It's like there's the clouds and there's the sky. Yeah. So awareness is the sky, and we need to hold the sky, remember the sky, be the sky. And then there's little puffy clouds and there's big thunderstorms. Yeah. And we get totally hooked and identified with that thunderstorm, or we can be the sky and hold the thunderstorm. Is this any of that making sense to you? Yeah. So somewhere these 2 things are an essential understanding. Yeah. Essential. So let me share the other essential, if that's okay. Share. And some of you might have seen on only that I shared this already, this polyvagal map. Yeah. Does everyone know this, or does everyone not know this map at all?
No, I don't know.
Charlie, you don't know. Okay.
No.
I don't know it.
Who else?
That was me, Nick. I haven't seen this
Nick.
one before.
All right. So the history of what we learned in biology at school was there's a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic. There's an accelerator and a brake. Yeah. And a very beautiful guy to listen to, Stephen Porges, he came up with this theory called the polyvagal theory. And he said that there's the parasympathetic is made up of 2 branches. And the one branch, it's let me start again. Let me say it like this. That bottom green that you're looking at is called the ventral vagal. It's the easy part of the parasympathetic. It's like a kind brake. If the body, I give it as a car. It's like the green is cruise control. My car is going easy and driving, and I can speed up and slow down, but nothing feels too jerky or too scary. Yeah. So that's ventral vagal. It's when we can co-regulate, we can self-regulate. It's when the trauma Roselle's question is when I can stay longer and more in this ventral vagal social engagement. Comf I'm comfortable in the continuum. I'm comfortable in a whole lot of places here. Yeah. And then what happens is the nervous system's content and happy and playing and easy. And then the nervous system, there's a threat. Yeah. There's something scary. I almost have an accident. We've got more enough examples to talk to today. But my life or other life is threatened. Yeah. In however big or small way. And this sympathetic kicks in. The sympathetic is the fight flight response. So the accelerator kicks in so I can fight or flight. And you can see on the side, there's a whole body thing. All the blood goes to my hands and feet, the blood goes to my eyes, and I'm narrow focused and I'm ready to run or fight. It's very quick. It happens like that, and we're charged and ready to go. Yeah. And this is not trauma. This is a gift. We need this. This is life energy protecting us. Yeah. It's not a negative thing, this sympathetic. It's a gift that we need. And then we accelerate. And then in South Africa, it's a little bit like load shedding. Because it's an electric system, it cuts off. It says, that's enough. I can only manage so much charge. I'm going to switch off. And then there's a hard break. And that hard break is the dorsal vagal, is when the parasympathetic says, it's called a dive. Dorsal is a shark's fin. It's a dive response. So if I was drowning, it's like I'd shut down everything and just keep the heart and the brain and the CPU ticking. Yeah. Everything shuts down. In the drug terms, it's when I've gone into an overdose. But everything's kind of goes numb and quiet and I'm disconnected. Yeah. And that's to protect the system and to wait till I'm saved or wait till the shit blows over. Yeah. And this map gets very interesting with addiction. For those of us working with addiction, it's a really powerful map to understand. And again, I want to say that this shutdown is not negative, bad. It's again grace. God steps in, the body steps in, life steps in and says it's going to protect me, make everything numb till it's safe to go on. Yeah. So the ongoing training of kind of coming back to regulation, to cruise control, to social engagement, to ventral vagal, and trusting that and building it and knowing the people where you can have that. I can't emphasize it enough. So what I've added to this map is at the bottom there's I am, is a little bit like I'm aware. I am, and I graze. A lot of this work is from watching animals, that if you watch a buck or a rhino or something in the bush, he's grazing, he's eating, he's totally relaxed, he's eating, playing, chilled. I'm grazing. There's no obvious threat. I'm not tense, I'm not wired. So we're going to do some exercise now. And then I can go into our play where things get a little risky. There's more action and more energy. Yeah. And then our play can easily get into something where I'm more triggered or someone gets hurt or something, or I have to run or fight. Let me stop and listen to Anna. Anna?
Hey, yes, I just have one question.
Please.
from my own experience, but also from what I've learned so far, I thought that when you're in like the shutdown collapse state, it's also quite possible because what I'm understanding now, but I may be misunderstanding, that it's really just a survival mode, just your heart keeps going and you can still breathe and you're basically just in survival mode. And what I'm seeing here is a lot of dissociation and the trapped, just a really survival state. Um, but if I just keep it to my own experience, I think I've been in that state for quite long, but I still was quite functional. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, how do you see that? Like, is that because I
So,
didn't really
yeah.
realize I was in that state until I worked on my trauma, and then
Mm.
a lot of a lot of things changed, but it for some reason I was still able to like there was definitely
Function.
trauma responses, but
Mm.
for some reason I was like on an automatic pilot or something.
So I hear you, and that's our freeze. So I go into fight flight, and then in fight flight, there's this feeling of I can, yeah? And then that orange band where it says I must, I hurt, freeze. When I'm frozen, I'm fawning. You know what's fawning? I'm pleasing. So I go into very functional. I'm shut down. It's like a part of the accelerator saying I can't run and I can't fight, but I can still say yes or no, so whatever you want, sir. Yeah. So I can look very functional. I can look like I'm doing everything right. I'm sitting here teaching you guys, and it all sounds very good, but inside I'm going, help, what am I doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it wasn't until like after I did trauma work, I like slept for
You-
such a long time and
Yeah.
I felt a lot of like my body had like it was really weird, and that's when they told me, it's because you were in survival mode for so long. Now
Yeah,
your body's
exactly.
releasing all that. So no, then I missed that little freeze part. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect, perfect. And reality is, it's like that fight flight we call stuck on, and the red part we call stuck on off. And the symptoms of stuck on is I'm hypervigilant, I'm often angry, I can't stop thinking, everything's overcharged. And then the stuck on off, I'm depressed, I'm lethargic, I'm disconnected, I don't want to know, I'm weak, I can't get my future going. You come as a coach and tell someone in shutdown, what about your future? It's like, fuck off, I don't want a future, I'm tired now. Yeah. So there's something there that we need to be able to know how to work with people in freeze, people in shutdown, people in fight flight. And recently I heard another thing. There's fridge and phone. There's people in fridge and phone, which I can relate to a lot. So I'm just going to the fridge or the phone, and I like that a lot. So this map is an ongoing journey of listening to it and feeling it and learning to work with it, which we can talk to. Before I come to you, Abby, I just want to see if I'm answering one or two questions. Roselle, I want to say more and more, it's like people come to me, I want to discharge the charge, I want to get rid of the trauma more and more. And it is just the idea that it's negative for me is off. More and more, I'm saying it's all God, it's all right, it's all the biology trying to survive. There's nothing to get rid of. We want to meet it, feel it, allow it, whether it's the numbness, the anger, the freeze. And then there's this thawing. There's a thawing process or an expression process. But I'm not all about the negative, getting rid of the negative or judging any of this. I'm into bringing a compassion and awareness to all these states because they all have a healthy function. They all have a purpose. They all have a reason. Yeah. So the milestones for me would be each time I can go to fight, flight, and come back. I can go to shut down and come back. The milestone is each time I can repair. It's like the good, the bad, and the ugly. So good things happen, yummy things happen, bad things happen, yucky things happen. But the ugly is when I can't repair, when I stay in these modes for too long. And when I stay in them for too long, I get addicted. Yeah. That's when addiction comes. When I stay in either shutdown or collapse or fight flight, then the system starts to want to, I can't deal with the charge. I want to drink or smoke dope or take pills to calm down. I can't deal with the dead state. I can't deal with the numbness. I can't deal with um the shutdown. I take crack, coke to feel alive again. Yeah. And that bouncing up and down that we do in our addiction, as a trauma therapist, you're kind of very slowly encouraging and allowing the movement between those states till we say, oh, I can come back to ventral vagal. Okay, that's Abby and then Camilla. And then let me keep hearing you guys instead of talking so much. Abby, Camilla, you want to say something?
Well, all I wanted to say is it possible to become addicted to one of those states?
That's what I believe addiction is. If you couldn't find the drug, you create a behavior or you create a different drug. Yeah.
Yeah, because I
So
mean we have our own internal
we're addicted to state.
pharmacy, frankly, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah. We absolutely, I don't buy addiction and behavior. We're addicted to these states
Yeah.
because we try to address them and heal them. Yeah. So we're trying to move from this one state to the other, and nobody taught us how to drive this car. So we end up just looping between the two and not coming back to a regulated state. That's what I believe, yeah.
And how do you treat someone who is absolutely set, and addicted to or stuck in the sympathetic, or I think probably, I mean, I've got someone I'm particularly thinking of that's stuck in fight, flight,
Yeah.
or even possibly freeze. There are similarities between them. Yeah.
So yesterday at the rehab, there's a guy on confidentially. I hope it stays confidential within this. There's a guy who's gambling. He's gambling, yeah. So for me, gambling, I want the hit of that fight flight. I want the charge, yeah. And for me, I draw this map and I talk to it and we keep looking at it from different angles. And slowly, slowly he sees, for me, there's this classic thing of what's the pain or the love behind it. So 3 years ago, that one died. 5 years ago, that one died. When did you start gambling? No, 5 years ago. He's totally convinced he's a gambler and then suddenly realizes, oh, no, now I could be a different addict. I said, no, and now you can feel your grief. Yeah. So I don't move. It's like I can't stop that behavior till I grieve or till I can rage or till I can feel what got stuck. Yeah.
Thank you.
I think so. That's like a very brief, arrogant answer, but I think that's part of it. Charlie, you wanted to say anyone? You muted, Charlie.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, this is making perfect sense. I knew there was a reason why I wanted to come on this, and then when you've explained this chart, 'cause I've never seen this Emin chart, it's dawned on me, man, that I've been in the dorsal vagal for about 30 years. You know, it's just
Welcome
like
to the family.
I was like, yeah, I was probably in social engagement when I was a kid. Fight, and do you know, and when I look at the fight or flight, it's like, fuck, I've been in that my whole life,
Yeah.
and then go on to I'm shut down and collapse, and then when you explained the freeze, that thawing out, that man yes sir, man no sir, the people pleasing, I was like, Plumbing. It's like I've been doing that my whole life. People
Yeah.
pleasing, not really knowing how to not say no. Do you know what? Like whenever someone asks me a question, I'm like yes, 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 and then I go away screaming in the pillow. I would have to scream in the pillow. Why have you said? Why have you said yes? When my whole body was screaming no, you just simply can't do it. But I go yes. Do
Yeah.
you know? And I could never ever understand. But I think the scary part for me actually is that shutdown and collapse. It's like I've been in there most of my life, and when and that's pretty frightening actually. When I think how much of my life I've actually been in there. If I'm honest, it's
Yeah.
pretty frightening. Where my where I mean, even as I'm talking now, I'm starting to sweat. My palms and my hands are starting to sweat. I'm starting to go into it now as I'm speaking to you. And I find it easier to be up that end than down this end because I'm that used to being up that end. That's that top end,
Yeah.
the shutdown, for me, because
And
I've lived there
what's
my whole my life, is a lot easier. And when I
mm,
say to people, I go up, I never go down, ever. I never, ever, ever go down. I always go up. So my take and my learning from this, and it's probably why I found meditation the last year, is to slowly come back down like that feather, the feather in the wind, that to that my
mm,
social engagement, and
mm,
that's where I'm 2.5 years in recovery,
sorry.
and that's the way I'm trying to bring myself I'm down to. But I tell you what, it's hard because as well I'm also addicted to feeling up there. It's very indulgent as
Mhm.
well.
And what's interesting for me with alcoholics is they think they drink for the party and the aliveness. But more and more, my conviction is they drink to numb out and sleep. They drink to fall asleep. They drink to numb and sleep. Yeah. And it's I don't know if you when you say that, then you can feel it. Yeah. When you're talking about actually, I want the numbness. Yeah. And then we do coming back, we do some weird shit, but we get hooked there. Abby, do you want to say something?
Yeah, Rasada, so I've done polyvagal, but um when you go into dorsal, can sleep be a part of that if you've been very highly triggered and then gone into overwhelm, procrastination? If you've been very highly triggered with your anger, is it normal to sleep afterwards? Would that be classed as dorsal?
Yeah, and sleeping's healthy. We need sleep. I just remind you that of this that the biological response. It's like when a bird flies into a window. Yeah. If a
Mm,
bird flies into a window, it's a big trigger. Yeah. Boom. And
yeah.
it lands on the floor and it doesn't just get up and fly away. It lies there for long. It lies there for long and waits, and then slowly it will move a feather, and slowly it will move a wing, and very slowly it starts to get up and fly away. Yeah.
Mm,
So there's something in allowing, learning to allow the dorsal and trust the dorsal. Yeah. I'm allowed to
mm.
sleep a bit. I'm allowed to rest
Sleep's
a bit. I'm
okay.
allowed to, yeah. We kind of have such judgments about that yellow red zone, but when we approach them with sometimes when I'm in the rear, people sleep, people go out, people come in, us far out. Let the nervous system do what it does. We just allow the nervous system to reset. Yeah.
Yeah, and is it all under parasympathetic, the whole thing?
The parasympathetic, I haven't stopped talking about. It's just dorsal, sympathetic, and ventral. Because that parasympathetic for me is you have to
Where does that
discern.
lie?
Am I in parasympathetic? Am I in dorsal or am I in ventral? They they say it's got two branches. When you say you've done polyvagal, you've got to understand it's that parasympathetic the whole theory is that it's got two branches. One, let's do something practical. I'll show you. Yeah.
Yeah, because I never
One
understood
manages
that bit.
one manages one manages the whole social engagement area, and one manages the gut. More so,
Okay.
much more so the gut.
And it's healthy to move between these states.
A healthy person can travel this and come back quicker. The healthy person doesn't never go up, and the healthy person comes back quicker. Yeah.
Interventral.
Interventral. Yeah.
Brilliant.
That's where we're going. Nick?
Thank you. Sorry,
Yeah,
Rasada.
cool. Thank you. Tell us, Nick.
Yeah, I'm not telling anything actually. I'm just here listening. But it's I think it's interesting because I think what we're trying to do then is try and regulate the release of chemicals in the brain. There's a physical, a neurological event taking place,
Yeah.
obviously. And if we can calm down, whether it's through meditation or a long walk or whatever it is, what we're doing on a neurological and physiological level is reducing the release of adrenaline or serotonin or whatever it is, that's
Yeah.
causing the havoc. There is a physical thing going on.
Absolutely physical thing. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a doctor or anything like that, but I'm interested to know the physical stuff that's going on in the brain because some people literally need medication in order to do that because they naturally release too much of those chemicals. So I think it's important to be cognizant of that as coaches, where it can't all just be coached out. I mean, you look at everyone these days. I can't bump into anyone without them saying I've got ADHD, whether they're adults or whether they're kids. Everyone's got fucking ADHD these days. Everyone's bloody neurodivergent. Everyone's on the spectrum. Everyone's whatever. Everyone's self-diagnosing themselves as way off every scale you can imagine these days, and it becomes difficult because then everyone's looking for a pill or looking for a hit or looking for it's fucking chaos out there. But I mean, the one analogy that I often use actually is that you can't see your reflection in boiling water.
That's
You
such a
really need
beautiful
those waters
picture.
to calm. You need those waters to calm, and it's a good message to self.
Yeah.
I can only see the way forward. I can only see my reflection if I calm the fuck down.
Cool. You said it. You got
Yeah.
something to say, Nick. Beautiful. Yeah. It's like from another angle, what I've learned from some teachers really say that something like 70% of people in hospital is unprocessed emotion, yeah, unprocessed accumulated stress. It doesn't even have to be trauma, it's just accumulated stress that's making us tense, that creates a whole lot of symptoms, yeah. A large proportion of people in hospital could be treated with going for a walk, regulating, getting some TLC. I mean,
Absolutely.
really, it's not. There are real people. There are definite cases of people needing this and that, but a lot of it could be managed with a healthy nervous system. And there's big doctors now. I downloaded a whole bunch of stuff from doctors who treating serious diseases where the only focus is getting them into ventral. And they're making
Exactly.
an impact, yeah.
I mean, so what we're saying there, it's the response to trauma, not so much the trauma itself, right?
It's not the event, it's what stays in the system, yeah. The whole change in trauma work is, as much as these events are important and there's a story and we can work through them, the big thing is there's actually, because whether it's whatever comes in front of you, your system's going to react in the same way after so many years. Yeah. So it's that holding that needs to. Let's do one little practical thing before we have a break. So just Stephen Paul just came up with an understanding of how we work with the nervous system. And it's called neuroception. Yeah. So there's something called extraception, where it's like every few seconds, the whole body nervous system scans outside and says, is there a lion? I'm in Africa, I check, is there a lion? Wherever you are, the system looks outside and says, is my wife there, my husband there, the police, whatever I'm scared of, I'm checking. So as you sit here now, just take a moment to look around your room. Look around your room or look out the window. Just have a good look outside and check that we give the nervous system a chance to really look. Is there a threat? Is there danger? Is there beauty? Is there things I love, things I want to change? And the brain's very quick. It's a chair, bed, this, that. But now when you let yourself really look, let your eyes settle on something, or let your eyes find something of more interest. And notice what happens in the body as you find something a little more interesting. So the nervous system can go outside and have a look outside, and now let the nervous system look inside. Yeah. And again, every few seconds, the system scanning. Am I full? Am I hungry? Am I empty? Is my heart okay? Is this just, you look for heat, cold, you look for flow, you look for tension, you look for absence. You look for where the energy is accumulating and where the energy is flowing and where it's absent. Where it's more ventral, where it's more sympathetic, where it's more dorsal. And just in the looking and slowing down, that boiling water settles a bit, yeah? And maybe there are places that are very, very like triggering and need some attention. And then you find places where it's a little easier, yeah? Yeah, and allow the movement from inside to come outside again. Just you again scan, have another look at the place you've looked at a million times. Anyone want to say what they're seeing now, what they notice when they look around? Go for it, Paolo.
But I'm quite, yeah. I've got a bird feeder in the tree outside my window. And when I did this now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to explain this properly, but the second I looked out the window, I saw the bird. This happened very quickly, but I saw the bird, then I became aware of the chirping, then I became aware of the bird's conversation. So it's a different sound, it's not chirping, it's something else, with them talking to each other or doing whatever they're doing. And then it was very much in my face, so I was very conscious of it. But at the same time, like I said, this happened very quickly. I then became aware that I don't know if this is the right way to express it, but I became aware that I was unconsciously aware that the birds had been there the whole time I've been in this container. They've been in the tree and eating out of the bird feeder. But when I looked out and saw them, it was a different level of awareness. I don't know if I'm explaining it properly, but it was, and it was almost like a shock to me. It was like, why is this different? Because they've been there all the time, you know. But yeah, so that's just yeah. It's yeah. I use my sense when my mind is running away with me or my emotions. I use my five senses a lot. I found there's
Beautiful.
nothing else that there are other techniques I can use, but nothing really truly brings me back to earth, like doing that exercise. But yeah, it was just quite interesting to me and very strange that, yeah, I know they've been there, but why wasn't I that aware? You know what I mean? I was just, it was just an odd experience.
Beautiful. I always say when we can hear the birds, we're in the right place. So we look out. This movement of looking out, naming a few things, seeing a few things, looking in, naming a few things, seeing a few things. It's like to do that with a client before you start or after you finish. It's like you get to slow down a whole lot, the client gets to slow down a whole lot, and you're able to have a different conversation just in that little movement. Let's have a look at the space we're in. And you learn so much from the answers. They go inside, they say, oh, this is a terrible tour. I can't. You say, no, I'm actually really relaxed and fine. Yeah. You learn so much from just listening to what they see out there and in here. Yeah. And when you do it together, and then there's a third step where it's like there's a boundary. There's extraception, proprioception is the internal sense of my inner workings, and intraception, and there's proprioception. Extraception, intraception, proprioception. And proprioception is where I'm in space and where we are. It's like the boundary and the we, yeah? There's something of the boundary. That if you feel right now, you can tell if your left foot's a little more in front than the right. There's something that knows where you are in space, yeah? Or which hand's for that whole machine gives us orientation, gives us capacity to walk in the jungle and walk in the city, yeah? And deal with what we deal with, where we know where we are in space. We're not just this. So let's take one question and then have a little break. If it's making sense, just if anyone's triggered or needs some help, it's all welcome. Katie, let's hear your voice.
Thank you. Yeah, I first of all I want to notice how calm I feel after doing that little thing. Wanted to bring that. But this is a massive revelation for me. I've been flirting with polyvagal theory for a while, just in my little cockeyed way. But actually looking at that, I have recognized that I've been stuck in freeze for a very, very long time. And actually that I've unconsciously had a fear of slipping over into the dorsal. So I've kept myself there, and actually at the pinnacle of my drinking, I flipped over into that by chemically doing it. And I didn't get out of bed for 4 months, and I was just in that space and I've just recognized I was too afraid to go there. I couldn't go into that state. And it was making me feel quite emotional, actually, because I've just really recognized that I did that because I needed to, in a way.
Yeah.
So now I'm trying to come back.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's just very powerful for me. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's even the thing is sometimes we can't. There's a journey. When you look at that graph I sent you, we go on a journey, yeah. And we don't necessarily, it's like if you're driving and you suddenly, and you're going to have an accident and you feel everything peak up and then you don't have the accident and you feel this, you let go, yeah? We know that. So at any point along the way, we can come back. But the higher we up on that graph, we don't just come back to regulation. We have to come back through the anger we didn't want to feel or the tension we didn't want to feel. So I want to say you were afraid of going up and down, you know? And somewhere on the journey, it's like the rehab, we celebrate when someone gets angry because they finally they're on their way back to connection, yeah? So it's really an interesting map that we can study for long. Hmm.
Rasada, would you mind just saying again what those three types of perception are? Introception,
Intra, extra, and proprioception. So I can see the world outside, I can orient and look and take my time. And if you look at someone who's in sympathetic, it's like they can't even, just the eyes are moving, or it's very narrow in the sympathetic mode. Our vision is the threat or the safety. Yeah, it's like, and then as they go more into dorsal, they're not even looking. It's like I keep walking into doors, I'm disconnected, I'm dissociated. That dorsal is very not there's degrees of it, yeah. Like you said, I can be like Anna said, I can be functional, but a part of me is also not home, yeah. And then the more you come back, as you come back, it's like some of you can feel when we did that little exercise, you come back and you feel I can graze again. It's like we can go have a cup of tea now, yeah. There's something a whole lot more relaxed, and I'm back to how graze I am, ideally. Roselle.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have just unmuted. I didn't put my hand up. Sorry, Rasada. So, am I hearing then that sort of disassociation is sort of like actually don't even remember what I was going to say now. Like it's like a survival mechanism
Yeah.
in the shutdown in that red zone. It's just like a continuous survival. All systems get shut down except for the ones that we need to keep, like the breathing and the swallowing and the, but you
That's the
literally
extreme
just,
state of it. That's the extreme state. But for
yeah.
sure,
And how long would you stay? How long can somebody stay in that, like acute extreme state? I mean, are they in that phase for an hour, a week, 10 days? Like, you said that, you don't want to stay there for too long,
yeah.
because it then becomes the addiction. So is there a sort of like a measuring stick for, okay, now you need to come out of the cave now. It's ready. You're ready to come out. So,
Yeah.
so at what point would you say is danger zone? Real danger, right?
Yeah.
Like major danger zone.
Yeah. Well, the gift of the trauma healing work that I've been learning is this deeper trust in nature, in the nervous system. Yeah. So if you break a leg, then it's not like we do anything. You put it in a cast and you wait. Yeah. And nature does its business, and next thing we can take the cast off and you're walking. Yeah. So when I'm shut down and frozen, when I'm shut down, I just really need someone to say, it's okay, I'm with you. Yeah. It's okay. And feel what happens, that it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to be a bit disconnected, closed, shut down. It's like the relief in me, that I don't have to be anywhere else. I can just be where I am. So somewhere in your question, you're really wanting to move out of the state. The challenge with trauma is people are coming with a state they don't want, and we've actually got to visit that state and be able to be there for a little bit.
Yeah,
Does that
I
make
know.
sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I noticed
So,
that doing those focusing exercises as well. It's like going, oh yeah, that's a tree. Okay, now I want to run away. It's just like that.
scary tree.
It's just no, but it's just it's like yeah, I can see the tree. I'm trying to describe the tree. I'm trying to look at the tree. I'm trying to admire the tree, and I'm like already sort of criticizing the tree. It's like, okay, the leaf is broken, and oh, it needs this. This is a whole. It's like, can you not just be a leaf? But it's like that the mind just does not want to settle on the tree or the
Yeah.
leaf. You know, I
Yeah.
use a technique where I describe it to a child. Like, imagine I'm with a toddler and I'm going, okay, it's green and it's got a speckle and it's lovely, and I try and use that exercise to try and bring the focus to the tree, for example. But and instantly I get tired. I just want to go to sleep. So that again is that sort of like shutdown thing.
That's the bounce from
Yeah,
I want to go, I shut down, go, shut down. So
yeah.
we want to just hold that really gently and be with allowing both, and then nature will say, all right, and now I can come out. Yeah? I see you smiling. Something happened.
Thanks. Thanks, Rasada.
So let's do what I said. Let's take, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes. Should we come back at 10 to and have a proper rest and break? Give it to yourself. Go look at trees, Roselle. Take 20 minutes and we come back in 20 minutes and yeah, we go from there. And you don't have to leave the meeting, just switch off the camera. Nick, which WhatsApp group are you on? Oh, you muted it. You muted, Nick.
I'm on so many WhatsApp groups, but the heads up for this came on the UACT,
The UX, the ports, UX.
CIC. I don't know. I'm on all of those UACT things. So you can put it on any one of them, I think.
I'm on one called UX Supervision.
Yeah,
You
that'll be
there?
fine. Put it on that one.
Okay, sure, I'll put it there.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, man. What's the weather like in Joburg, Rasada?
Oh, the days are gorgeous, huh? But we're about
Yeah.
to get some serious colds. I think you're in a cold front now, no?
Yeah, we got a huge one, man. It's definitely the only thing I miss about Joburg is the weather. Hey, oh my God. I mean, I was born and raised there, but I've been here for 30 years and
All right.
definitely miss the weather. Yeah, but when we did that exercise just now, looking out and you're seeing the raging storm and the trees standing sideways, that's wild. And there's some absolute beauty in the wild, but at the same time, you're sitting in a safe environment where you're warm and dry and safe. And it's like, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful.
stunning. Cape Town is beautiful, huh?
Yeah. Where does your name originate, Rasada?
You know, but it's a given name from my meditation teacher in 1984 or something.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. My birth name is Eli Ron. Eli, and the second name is Ron. And I'm called Rasada for 40 years. Huh?
Wow. That's amazing. That's lovely. And what does it mean, the Rasada?
It's got a few meanings, but it's Sanskrit. So raso is essence, and rasada can be the giver of the essence, or juice, or juicy, or a doctor. It's got a few meanings.
Oh, that's lovely, man.
Now I live with it to remind me
It's
when I'm
beautiful.
identified and not.
Yeah.
Hmm. So it's more or less 20 minutes. We wait a little bit or we start to check in.
Hey, P, why are you in a blue light today? It's not reflective of your mood, I hope, eh?
I could be anything. For now, I'm sitting in a calm state.
Oh, good.
So on my side, I don't know if I replied to Nick and Emma's questions, holding trauma within coaching model. And yours was similar, Emma. It was responding, how we respond to trauma. What were you asking?
Yeah, it was just how we respond to trauma. It's a bit like what you said about like man's worse than yours or this, that and the other, but when it isn't, every trauma is individual to the person
Yeah.
and how we respond to somebody else's.
Hmm. It's important. What's important? Yeah, a lot of people are convinced they've had no trauma. I'm convinced everyone's had a lot of trauma, but we can't compare. The comparing kind of really, comparing is a disease, I think. The biggest response is a kind of honoring of where people are. And there's different layers to it. It's like Peter Levine's first step is relative safety. Yeah. So when you see someone in a state, it's like, yeah, maybe they need an ambulance, maybe they need something serious, or right now, exactly is there a problem right now? And yeah, there's a million problems with this and that and that, but in this moment, as I sit here, is there a problem? Yeah. And then addressing that to find relative safety. Yeah. And then a big thing is this empathic kind of resonance that we acknowledge, sympathize, empathize, resonate with. All of that's essential to kind of help create the safety, yeah? Anna, you want to ask a question and then we'll everyone check in. Maybe you can start.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm checking in good, really thoughtful and grateful. And something, it's not really a question, think maybe it is, but something that I just wanted to add to what we spoke about before the break, and that came up for me. I'm not sure who said it or what exactly, but it just came up for me. It was about the trauma and what states we're in, and like how long you can be in a state, I think someone asked. And what came up for me is that, as well as my own experience, and what I've learned is that I got this, I don't even remember how long ago, and I really hated this. It says you were given this life because you're strong enough to live it. And I used to hate it so much, and I used to not really believe it. But I've learned to believe, or like I now really trust. The same with trauma, that you are given as much as you can take. And I've also learned that I've sometimes learned, like got memories back that I really couldn't, they were new to me, and I didn't understand why I didn't remember them before. But I have learned that sometimes for an individual, your body will just not allow you to remember things when you're not ready to deal with them. So trauma can come at phases, and you move in those phases because yeah, in a really weird way. Like I'm not a religious person myself, but I always think of the universe, or I don't really know how it works, but in some way you get trauma in on the time when you can deal with it, when you're ready. So it goes in phases, and that's why I now do appreciate this, and I still have it hanging in my home, because apparently when you're strong enough, and when you are ready, you will be able to deal with it. So sometimes trauma comes in phases, and yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say.
Yeah, beautiful, important. Huh? There's this thing of we give thanks for what's revealed and we give thanks for what remains hidden, yeah? That in its right time it will come, huh? You want to pass the buck to someone and everyone
Sorry, yeah.
just check in if there's something you just want to say or share or ask, just how we're doing, if we're in the right direction. Who wants to go next? Go for it, Iona.
I'm checking in, same calm and happy to be here. And I think I was thinking a bit during this past hour, a bit more about how trauma is stored in our bodies, and how our physical body stores blocked emotions, and what happens to our body when this happens, and how we are not aware about it. So I don't know if we're going to talk about later about this, but this is something that I was dealing with. Maybe I'm still dealing with, and I'm also trying to coach and talk to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll address that. You want to pass on and we can get it.
Yeah, Abby.
So I'm feeling a bit flustered and overwhelmed from having to do a million things that are my job at once and wanting to focus on this. But What am I doing? Asking a question.
If you want to, just say how you're feeling. You don't have to
I'm
say
just
what it's
feeling
like.
flustered and just looking forward to the nice grounding feeling I feel when I'm around you, Rasada. I'm looking forward to more Rasada energy.
May it always be.
And yeah, definitely learning more about the parasympathetic, because I think it's something I've previously perhaps misunderstood or not done enough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a live study, that thing. It's not, I've got it. It's a live study, yeah.
Yeah. But do you want
Who are
me
you
to pass
passing on
to someone else?
to?
Emma? Don't look at me like that.
I'll tag P.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, I'm feeling, because I'm relating a lot to my own personal experience that I've come, and I feel after 3 years of being out in the red and not in green, I have landed, and what got me there was painting rocks, because when I was in there, there was no creativity. I don't get creative or fluffy or kind. I'm just going. And through that, I've sort of grounded. But what I have noticed, I don't handle stress now like I used to. So just putting all this, is just so much goodness. And I like your practical approach because it sticks better. But I'm sort of relating that to myself. And then also, I'm that one, the same when I do the 12 steps, you want the defects to remove. I always am excessive, like it's either this or that, where it's actually accepting. It's the same as grief, it never goes away. It's just how it incorporates. And I'm getting that feel of really just, yeah, very, very informative. And I will tag Nick.
Thank you, Pete. Yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this. It's great to see all the faces and lots of people in the container. It's also interesting because I think it's all reflective. We all think about ourselves. Well, I'm speaking for myself as you go along. Not only you're thinking about your clients going forward, but you're also thinking about yourself and how we've come through our journeys to arrive at where we are. And even further than that, I look at somebody like my mother. And that's the joy of this container, and the joy of what we do is we're passing the baton on. This is forward focused, and it's creating so much help and compassion and hope going forward. Whereas the previous generation really didn't have that. They just had pull your socks up, get on with it, shut up. And they had to just all bottle it up. And I realized my mum was in fight and flight her entire life. She died a year and a half ago, but she was still a knot of nerves and was reactive the whole time. And beautiful person, but I felt desperately sorry for the fact that she was never able to speak to anybody. Barely in my generation could we. It's really happening in my final curtain call of life that I can start opening up and speaking. And it's just wonderful that our kids can, and they do. I mean, our kids are just honest to a fault. They overshare. It's almost embarrassing me the way they overshare. It's a beautiful thing. So I think that's the beauty of this process, is passing the baton on and giving hope to future generations who are struggling with just too much information and a lot of anxiety out there. So yeah, thank you all. I will pass it on to my wonderful friend in Zambia, Rabson.
Oh yeah, thank you very much, Coach Nick. Yeah, I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking the benefits and the magic of what we've experienced, and I was just thinking how applicable it is to young people, and the specific young people that I'm talking about is you know is that here in Zambia we've been struggling so much with teenage pregnancies, and how that just caused a lot of trauma to young girls who become mothers, some at the age of 15, some at the age of at 10 and such kind. Some at the age of, of 16, 15, and 20 and such kind of things. So I was just thinking how applicable this work is where trauma is concerned. Yeah, that was just the question that I have.
Yeah,
And
good.
I can tag Enes if you've got anything to share or a question.
Thanks, Rabson.
I'm checking in. I'm grateful, and I'm learning a lot through this time. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think my question would be, I'm quite curious to know how do you work with a person who is in fight or flight mode but lives with a constant trauma. So family members that are that living in Ukraine at the moment. So I want to know, how do you help them, the people that are constantly in danger, whether it can be in Europe, it can be any kind of other environment. How do you, if you can't remove them from that danger, how do you help them cope with trauma?
Okay. And I can pass on for you to Kate.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm feeling incredibly calm and so grateful for this session. There was a lot of emotions came up for me during that first session, so much relatability. And I'm just very thoughtful, but also not overthinking. I took the time and the break and I went outside and I literally looked at the leaves and described them in my head. And I just was like, okay, just be there because this is what you need. I find I give to people very much that whole people pleasing, and I can be there and I can be that compassionate person and help, co-regulate. I can't do that for me. And this is what I need to learn. And this is what I'm feeling from this space. I'm just grateful for you all to be comfortable in a space like this with people I don't even know. It's amazing. So thank you. And I will pass to Charlie.
Thank you, Katie. During the 20 minutes there, I went and had my second breakfast, and then I turned my chair around so that I could look at the ocean. And yeah, I moved into this man caravan 2 years ago. And the reason I moved into this man caravan 2 years ago is because I was 6 months at Yamassoba. And I knew that as soon as I got round people, my anxiety was up here. I didn't know what it was, but my anxiety was up there, and that was 6 months into recovery, and 2.5 years on. And when I press the camera on this, Emma, from the camera, it go on, that anxiety appears again. It just comes on, boom, it's there. And it sits in my stomach constantly, that anxiety. Whenever I'm round anybody that I don't know, or whenever I'm round people, when there's something like this thing just attaches to my stomach. It doesn't go anywhere else. It just attaches to my stomach like a limpet, boom, and it's there. And it's there now. And as everybody's you've been talking, and I'm like, there you have there again. What is this? Go away, fuck off, and let me listen to people. Let me listen. But because I've got my head on to everybody's been saying, and I've got this washing machine going round in my stomach, and I'm like, will you just fuck off? And I will pass it on to Emma.
Thanks, Charlie. I get that feeling quite often. But I was sat here thinking about, because how I dealt with my trauma, and I don't think I ever dealt with it, but I see it. I visualize things like in a picture. So I imagine like walking across a grassy field every day for a year, and that neural pathwaves, like the grass is gone, there's a delve in the grass. And the only way I always visualize myself as doing it is that delve, even though I stopped walking that grass and the delve's still there, the grass has grew back, but I walk a different way every other time. But the scars are always there. But does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah.
That's the way I always envision my trauma. Like it's always going to be there, but I can choose a different path.
Yeah.
And I was in the church yesterday, and the priest actually told me a story. He said there was 2 months walking by a lake, and they spotted this beautiful lady trying to cross the lake, and one monk picked up the lady and carried her across the lake and put her down. They carried on with the walk, and then the other monk was really frustrated about it, and eventually at the end of the day he got so frustrated he said to the other monk, "What were you thinking? Why did you carry that beautiful lady across the road, across the lake?" And the monk said, "I carried that lady across the lake and I put her down, but you carried her all day."
You
And I
still
just
carry
thought, I was sat with that for ages thinking about that. But yeah, I'm checking in grateful and happy. And I'll tag, I don't know who's gone.
Can tag Stephanie, can tag Roselle.
I'll tag Roselle. Roselle, you mute.
Coming. You want to check in while Stephanie, you want to check in while there's Roselle. She got it. Go for it, Roselle. It's not muted. You can talk, Roselle. No, she's muted. Stephanie, you want to check in while she works it out?
Sure, thank you, Rasada. I'm checking in a little bit envious and jealous to the rest of the container. I didn't find the previous exercise and the previous group the same experience as the rest of the group. And you even asked Rasada if somebody needs help, because this is currently where I'm at in this state. I've been in recovery for 4.5 years now. I'm also working in the industry with in the crisis area of, and the last 2 weeks or so, and it isn't that something really significantly happened, but I've built a lot of safety of my own personal well-being within my workplace, with working with other addicts and things like that. So it's kind of like my life and my work looks the same. My personal life, I'm doing recovery stuff, and in my professional life, I'm doing recovery stuff. And the only thing that's really or happened is that some changes, but I've also been through some changes. Staff components change, people come and go. But now we've undergone through a change, and this change is affecting me in a way that I can't even explain. It's like for the first time in 4.5 years, like I struggled to connect when you guys said, look outside, I could see the things, but I wasn't grounded when I tried to do that. Is my anxiety is just escalated so much. I actually in the break went to go take a shower. Is that I can see in the chart that I'm moving in different phases, and obviously my personal recovery, doing a 12-step program, I'm doing the practical things, but I'm just not, and maybe this is me asking for help. So I've got the information, I've got the awareness, kind of being able to see where I'm at, but it's like I'm struggling to get there. I'm like just like stuck in the space. I feel like I've got heart palpitations. It's something very weird for me. In my 4.5 years, I've never experienced it. In my 12-step experience, I'm trying to spiritually, emotionally looking for something that's off balance, and I can't find everything. So yeah,
So
this is maybe
Stephanie, let me
reaching
slow
out to
you
the
down a little
container.
bit. Let me slow. It's nice you checking with all of this. Thank you. And we just let everyone check in, and I can work with you a little bit. And Charlie also, that we can file some tension and work with it, yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, is that okay? And thank you for your
Yes.
vulnerability and honesty, yeah? Roger, you want to go?
Sorry, I had to check out early on. At the in front here in front, somebody, yeah, kid knocked into the wall, yeah, the fence. So, yeah, so I was just sorting that out, and the father came, and he's been so rude and stuff like that. But yeah, the police took the father away because the son doesn't have a driver's license, and he was trying to get his son to lie about something. I don't know. I wasn't rude to his son or anything. Gave his son some coffee while we were waiting on the father and the police.
In the crisis.
So, I mean, yeah, so, but I'm cool. I'm cool, calm and collective. I'm still okay. I'm still a Roger. I mean, I don't let the little things in life get me down anymore. It's just that when the kid said, when he told his father that, no, Daddy, I'm not going to lie. I told you I don't want to go to the shop with a car. And me and the cop just looked at each other and we smiled. And then the cop told the father, please, sir, come. We're going to take you away. And I mean, that's okay with me. And I mean, I told the cops I'll come. They asked me if I'm going to come up to the police station right away. I told them, no, it's the father first cool down. So I'll probably make a turn like later this afternoon. I'll go probably like 3, 4 o'clock up. Wait until the father cools down a bit. And yeah, so then I mean, I can speak to the father then. He's not going to be an
This
asshole
is
all
like
the
a
time.
perfect, Roger, I just want to pause you so the container can feel their feet. Just, it's like you find your own body with a story between Stephanie, Charlie, Roger. Even if whatever their state is, you can feel this little pull into it. Even P's got a head in the camera, yeah? So just sit back a little bit, and it's not in denial of. We're not saying what's going on with you guys isn't real and happening, but we're making room. We're making space for it. Just find your bum on the chair, feet on the ground, back against the chair, and you kind of wait for your breath to happen. And for Charlie and Stephanie, Charlie, just put one hand on your belly, and Stephanie, you put a hand on your heart. It's like that heart palpitation, put a hand there. Charlie, put a hand on your belly. And any one of you who's got a little tension or just in resonance with. And Roger, you feel, as much as you're cool, calm, and collected, you feel a place that's maybe a little bit feels the wave of having some movie happening outside. That there's a place that's more tense. And we just bring awareness to the tension. We just get curious. We're not fixing it, chasing it, changing it, amping it, softening it. We're just curious.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you properly. My connection is very
sorry,
bad.
Roger.
Let me just put the camera off quick. I can't really hear what you're saying. You see the camera's gonna work. Yeah, so I don't know. Yeah, most of the things that you said now. But like you know what? I've been dealing with trauma since like early childhood. My first traumatic experience was like 18 months when I was about 18 months old. And I fell out of a moving car. So I mean, it took me many years to deal with my trauma up until where the point I am now today. And I don't allow my trauma to take over my life anymore. So yes, I'm just more of a calm person these days. Because I know what trauma got me into a lot of trouble in the past. And yeah, I just like I do my best not to let the little things get me down. Even if somebody angers me or gets me upset over something, you know what? I need to be okay with it because not everything is in my control. Whatever happened to me in the past happened to me, and there's nothing I can do about it to change it. And I think what trauma is more about acceptance that we can't change the past. And there's nothing we can do about it. So for me right now, it's just about acceptance that whatever happened. So I'm cool. I'm cool with it.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Who wants to add anything? Check in. Has everyone checked in?
I haven't. Sorry
Camilla,
about
go for it.
that.
Say something. Tell us.
So what an extremely good experiment. Can you hear me? Yes,
Roselle,
no,
go for
maybe?
it.
Oh, go, go,
Yes,
go.
we hear you.
Yeah, so just as I've been moving around preparing dinner, being single mom, trying to look at the leaves and take a break, calm down. The fire alarm in the flat just went off just as we came back in here, and my whole body just went went into like fight. Ah! But I have actually started to train myself to find it actually kind of amusing now, because every time Will cooks, he manages to put the alarm off. So now it becomes like a comedy of errors. But I noticed how quickly my nervous system just came back as soon as I sat in here. It was like, wow, that's amazing. Rather than that sort of like that catastrophe, the reaction, oh my God, the house is burning down, but it's like, oh, okay. I have my little towel here ready to go. So I've got my tools. The question I have for you, Rasada, is what is a good, powerful question to ask somebody that you're holding space for who is in chronic red zone trauma? I'm just wondering whether or not the question of what is it that you need is the wrong question at a time of that crisis. Because I'm just kind of finding like that sort of sits in the should. It sort of sounds like a frap.
Yeah.
What do you need? What are your thoughts? It sounds maybe a little bit too confrontational. I'm just wondering, have you got any wisdom around that?
Yeah,
Because
100%.
I've fallen into that hole so many times with feeling like I'm asking the wrong question.
Yeah.
I'd love some
I
wisdom around
can
that.
talk to that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
similar
thank
to
you.
Anita's question around the fight and flight and how it's stored. It's how Charlie's anxiety. Stephanie's heart is racing. It's all happening in the room. It's all, yeah. Yeah. And it's all welcome. Camilla, give us some words and we go on.
Oh gosh, words. I'm well, I actually listening to people just now, I was really practicing the 80-20 and noticing how helpful that was really. And also, I mean, I could say more about that, but I know you want a quick check-in, but also
No,
just
it's
wanted to,
fine. Keep going.
well, it was because I was sort of powerfully in my own self. I wasn't triggered by other people's trauma and crises and dramas and um yeah, it just helped me kind of stay in my, in what am I trying to say? Sort of in the wisdom rather than as you say, in the response rather than the reaction.
Reaction, yeah.
That was helpful to just sort of practice that. But I also just wanted to speak to, I am not to give me rank and privilege or anything, but I mean, I've got 36 years of recovery, and I find this stuff working with people with with in early days of recovery is, I'm so grateful I have all that time, and I really want to acknowledge all of you guys here who are early days, really trying to work with this stuff and manage your own stuff. But that's come with time. Yeah, I've done a lot of work over those years, and still, it's triggering to work with other people's trauma, and yeah, I don't know what that's saying really, but just an acknowledgement that what the work you're all doing, it's not easy stuff.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not easy, yeah. Definitely not easy. And we salute you for your work. It's like we need the young ones bring in fresh juice, the old ones have some old wisdom. We need it all in the room, yeah. But I love that you could catch that 80/20. Does anyone feel they need to say something, or can I go on? So let me just check in. Charlie, what happens when you just hold your belly to that washing machine? You kind of bring your awareness, your hand on your belly, and it's like
Yeah,
together
I
we
noticed.
with you in your belly.
Let me say that again, Rasada.
Together we with you. It's like you're not alone with this shaky belly. We all can be with you in your shaky belly, yeah? What happens to
Yeah.
it then?
When I put my hand on my stomach, with what you were saying, and then I was starting to listen to you when people, and then you said just watch your breath. And I just slowed down my breathing, and I was just looking at the ocean, and I was
Yeah.
just listening to Camilla speak there, and I was like, yeah, it was just like kind of going like this. It was just a nice flow. There was like a better flow to it. Instead of this spiky flow, it was
Yeah,
just more of a kind
exactly.
of nice, relaxing flow when I heard um, Camilla speak there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
think, yeah, I mean, some of it is because I have a stutter, and I had to learn to speak again in my very early on, and I've had this terrible stammer in my life. So when I go to open my mouth, especially like with people I
close
don't
it.
know, like now I go into it like now I'm starting to sweat in case I show you my stutter. So that's where it actually comes from actually. And so when I hold my stomach, it's like I'm kind of going, you're okay, you're okay. It doesn't matter if it comes up, you're okay. Even now when I feel so much better, going, you're okay, you're okay. But when I switch on my camera and I don't really know, and I'm just in the room, I'm just like, it feels like I'm stuttering inside, and that stutter is going to come up. And because I've tried to hide my stutter my whole life, like my whole in my life, I've picked points of conversation that I can go in and out. So I'll never show you my stutter. I'll pick my points, yes, no. There's certain sounds I just can't do. There's certain sounds I can't. If I do like my R's and my S's, I found it extraordinarily difficult. So I need to really, really know, like, if I'm going for like the word recovery, I need to know that I'm going to make that word, because if I'm talking in rooms, sometimes I overreach for that one word and it will not come out, and then I show people the stutter, and then it's like my inside goes into like turmoil when I go in the stutter outside. It's like my whole side. It's like I've just lost it. Whatever I've said, I've now lost. And now I need to close the conversation up as quickly as I possibly can. So I will close down, completely close down. As soon as I
Right,
show you
go to
that,
the extreme of the red, huh?
yeah, go straight up, and then I need to close down because the sweat's gone now. My mouth can't talk. I'm dried up, and then I'm straight into red, and then whatever I was going to say man previously is just gone.
Let
Um,
me, I
yeah,
want to come in with a little self-disclosure. Thank you, Charlie.
thank you.
It's beautiful that you find this hand on belly and what you can do with it, huh? To do this group, I had my own supervision, and it's like when I think I've got to teach and prove, and it's like I get a million ideas, I've got to get them all across, and blah blah blah. So I did some supervision, and I found this whole story of I know as a kid where I was the stupid one in the family, and I really know. And interestingly, you are my resource. It's like when I thought of you, I feel safe and relaxed and I can slow down. Yeah. So it can have an inside resource and you can also have outside resources. But basically, I really relate to my own dyslexia's pressure. I got to perform, got to do quickly, get it all across. so that the container feels safe and slow is due to your presence here. So thank you, Charlie. Let me go through some reactions, some basic movements because of the questions. I just want to check in once with Stephanie. Stephanie, how's your heart? You a little easier or?
For me, if I place my hand on my heart and I try to breathe, because the placement of my hand on my heart is almost a reminder to breathe.
Yeah.
Then when I go into the breathing, I'm overwhelmed with emotions. Then I want to cry,
Right.
and I don't know regulating in between that.
Yeah. So let's be with that little sadness, that your sadness is welcome, yeah. That it needs some space and time, yeah. Little, whatever it's for, the roots, the now, life. That sadness is also welcome in the room, eh? Even if it's just the shit we work with every day, the stories we hear every day, they need a little bit decompression, never mind our own stories. It's a big thing I'm doing that when it's like together, one-on-one trauma work is slow and long and goes forever. But when 4, 8, 12, 16 people can be together with Stephanie's grief, just notice what happens in all of us. So let me talk to a few things because you okay, Stephanie? I'll go on a bit. I'll give you some space and we come back. So it's like a long list of responses, but I'll give you one simple map and then we can try a few examples of what to say with people when they sympathetic or dorsal or whatever state they're in. There's this one woman whose name is Joan Halifax, who works with death and dying. And she's someone I really trust and love. Many, many years ago, she was meditating in a group with 30 people and 29 got up, one died. And she's worked with death and dying ever since. And her stories are amazing. But she comes with this map of we don't know. The first step is we don't know. We don't know when they're going to die, how they're going to die, what happens if they die. It's like there's a whole lot of I don't know. I don't know all the stories Stephanie's coming with or Charlie's coming with. I don't know. Yeah. And when we remember we don't know, there comes a humility and an openness and a listening. Yeah. There's something when I can stay a certain humbleness of not knowing, it already makes a little space in me. Yeah. It's like we can get more confused. I don't know, but I don't know can really rest in I don't know. Yeah. That this is a mystery what we're dealing with and everything that's going on. Yeah? And from that I don't know, we show up. Yeah. The second step is I do my best to show up. Yeah. And in that showing up, when I really show up and just listen to my heart, if I do those two steps, I'll come with a heartfelt response. It might be to be quiet. It might be make some tea. It might be say something wise. It might be let's do it next week. I don't know. But that already showing up and not knowing and listening to our heart's response is already a whole lot more than any trauma teacher can teach you, because it's just got some truths in there for me that are very real, to really practice those. And all that said, here are some ideas on what we can do. Yeah, does that make sense? So I work with this idea of you need a container for the content. So you can feel somewhere there's like a busyness and so many things, and this happened and that happened and this happened and that happened, and you can hear when all that's going on that it's very hard to work with, yeah. Even it's hard for the facilitator and it's hard for the person who's telling all the stories. They're in the trauma vortex. There's just so much going on to unpack. So a big part of the trauma work I've learned and that I kind of practice is, okay, I hear there's a lot going on. Let's find a container for it. Let's find some feet, breath, ground, vertical kind of line, some resources. Let's find a space for the content. Yeah. When it's like that beautiful poem that Emma just reminded me of. It's like, I'll meet you at the field, that Rumi story, yeah? We'll meet at a field there. Whatever's happened, whatever's gone on, I'll send that story and find it. But it's like we need a little bit of a, I call it a tabula rasa, like a blank space where we can really, okay, so what's important here? So sometimes I'll just work with a client for a couple sessions just to get them that they can stand, that they can feel their back, front, left, right. They know what's in front of them, what's behind them, that they can find some breath, that they can, how else can I say that? That they find ventral, that they feel that they can graze again, that they find some ventral, yeah? Because the thing about being in sympathetic and dorsal is I can't actually learn. I'm not listening. You can't teach a lot when I'm in sympathetic and dorsal. It's like, fuck off and leave me alone. That's our basic response. So I need to find ventral to be able to then go to those states with more precision, yeah, and accuracy and capacity. Making sense? So then let's say someone's in this full-on fight flight. Yeah? Stephanie, you good? You can hear? I'm watching. Okay. So if here's a if there's an upset, there's an upset here. So what we've learned, most of us, and watch all the time, is here's the upset. I don't want the upset. I change state and I go drink. I go watch another 10 hours of Netflix. I go far away and change this. I want to change state. Yeah. There's a state I don't like. I change the state. That's one movement that we've been studying for long and practiced for long. So another movement is to say, let's find a resource. Let's find, if this is uncomfy, let's find a little comfy. Yeah. So I look for Charlie, or I look for my grandfather, or I look for the ocean. I look for when my gut is sore, let me feel the warmth in my hands. You know, let me find the opposite. Let me find something on the continuum that's not so intense. I can do that, yeah. And like Stephanie was saying, it's just not working. Sometimes that also doesn't do it. It's unique to the time, it's unique to the person, but I'm giving you a few options. Another option is we just go to the edge of it. So here's a discomfort. It's a pain in the body, a pain in the head, a heartbreak, whatever it is. Let's be together and have a look at it. It's like we're sitting at the edge of the water. We're not in the water, in the turbulence. We sit at the edge. And you can do that inside yourself. It's like my head, my heart's sore. I find my belly's comfy. I go to where the furthest place from that discomfort is, where it starts to become comfortable. Just talking about it, something softens in me. But there's like somewhere where I build a capacity to stop and look. Because what I saw so clearly yesterday with this chap who was what we spoke about is we spend so much time. It's like we don't want to look, but we look. We don't want to look, but we look. There's some pain or trauma or event that happened, and we spend all our time kind of not looking at. So we're in this movement, yeah. I'm going to go somewhere else, or oh fuck, there's that, so when we've got enough capacity, or we feel a bit safer, warmer, we feel a bit held, or we feel, okay, now I've got more room, let's turn and face what we keep running from, yeah? So now, just in that movement, there's a whole lot that happens, that and you can't force that. You can't force that, but you can build towards it, and naturally, at a certain point, I'm going, okay, I can look at that, whatever's so hard to look at. And then there's a movement. It's like a lot of it is with intention. Charlie's belly's a washing machine. Now we can go to his washing machine with an intention to soothe it. Yeah, so put your hand on and let's make it softer. I can go to that, I can go there with an intention to say, let's make it bigger. Let's feel the washing machine and give it room and space. It's here. There's a discomfort. Let me be with the discomfort, yeah? And finally, that's us facing it and say, all right, let this fucking washing machine spin, Whatever that is, I'm going to be here and hold it, yeah? And more, I'm using that. I'm realizing the potency and the need for that. It's like we don't quite get satisfied and we don't heal till we give that space. Nick, you want to say something? P wants to say something?
Thank you. I'd love to. This is bringing up a practical tool because I often need practical because if I climb in here, it's crazy already. But I'm sure you know of her, Tara Bach, the rain, the
Yes, exactly.
recognize,
Expand.
now, investigate and nurture. That is a huge, and that's what came up for me now. Is to, yes, it feels shit, but I'm going to allow myself for a certain period instead of trying to store it, because I realize if I store everything, it raises its head in other shape and form. So
Yeah.
that is quite a practical tool that I use. Thank
So
you.
Rain's a beautiful example. If everyone knows it, it's really worth looking at, and she teaches it beautifully. And I'm using something similar. It's like we take the situation, we find an emotion, we expand the emotion, and then we integrate it, yeah? So if you think of a baby, it's like a baby, that whole baby, when it's upset, that whole body cries, the toes cry, the nose cries. It's like that baby cries. And 2 minutes later, it's giggling, and the toes giggle, eyes giggle. It's like it allows a full expression for that whole being, yeah? But by the time we're here working with this, whether it's ourselves or others, it's like my heart's sore, I'm fine. I'm really fine. Everything's fine, but my heart's fucking sore. It's like I've got parts of me that can have tension and parts of me can be happy and but I don't let the fullness of what I'm feeling spread through my whole body and my voice and my brain. Yeah. So the more I learn to gently expand the emotion, the sensation, the story through the body, heart, brain, voice, I'm learning more and more that this is a powerful, powerful way of being. And sometimes I can just do it shortly, and that's okay. You don't have to hold it. And sometimes I can stay there long and really go deep and grieve or whatever's needed. But I'm not doing it to stay there forever. And you can't stay there forever. When you allow your full body to feel it, it's like it's going to burn through. Yeah. So sometimes my stomach's shaky, then I let my hand shake. I'll stand, my whole body shakes, and then I shake, and then it's done. It doesn't. I'm making sense, huh? But we need our 80/20. We need some holding. We need to do that with ourselves and other people. We need some containment, yeah? We need to know if it feels too much for you, it's definitely too much for your client. If it's too much for, we can feel when there's capacity. So we can have this intention to soothe, we can have an intention to expand into either comfort or discomfort. Yeah. And sometimes there's just this intention to kind of ask, let's just be curious and be with us. Let's listen. And let me hear if there's some comments, questions, then I'll go specifically to sympathetic and dorsal. But I'm giving you lots of different ideas on how to work with your own and others' trauma. Nick, go for it.
Yeah, if there's one thing that I've learned, which is exceptionally valuable for me, is that anxiety, depression, all of that, it just doesn't like a moving target. And that doesn't mean you necessarily physically have to go and jump in the pool or run around the block. It's just you don't, I wouldn't say you, I mean me, you can't just sit still and be lost in your own thoughts, which leads to overwhelm. So you know, and it's not deflecting either necessarily. It's just doing something. It's showing up and being that moving target. That moving target could be actually just sitting down and meditating.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're doing something, and which you are distracting in your mind. Yes, of course you are. And it's about hitting that reset button. But it's being a bodily aware. It's at 80%. So being aware of yourself so that you're showing up properly, being aware that you're going down a rabbit hole of negative thoughts or whatever it is, which is leading to some anxiety, and you can feel the path coming. So it's like intervene. It's what you're going to tell your clients to do. So intervene yourself and build that resilience. And it might be a physical thing. It might mean to go for a walk, go for a hike, go for a swim, or it might just mean actually just sit down, center yourself, have a good quiet meditation, read a book, connect with some people, maybe have a good chat, and that's your reset. Come back. It just doesn't like a moving target, and that's the biggest, the most important thing for me.
Right. Thank you, Nick. Rapsen, my man, talk to me.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I think one of the things that really hit me so much was in the aspect of being in a place where we have to face what sometimes we run away from.
Yeah.
And I just wanted maybe if you can expand more on that. Yeah.
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 I want to give a practical example. I worked with a death not long ago. I worked with a death, and the person was like running away from seeing the body, didn't want to see the body, yeah? So then I said, okay, let's run. Let's run as far and as fast as you can. Let's run away from the body, yeah? And then they ran away, and then they came to the realization, actually, I need to go back and look. A part of me needs to see what happened so I can say goodbye. Yeah. So it's very unique, but a part of us. So this person said, no, I want to go look. And in our head, in our mind, in our heart, we went and we stood and we looked and we felt and we were there. And the relief and the release and the calmness that came was really, oh, okay. You know, I can feel my love for who I'm looking at. I can be with, as hard as it is, I need to see this. And I'm not saying that's always the answer or that's the thing, but it's a strong example, It's a very strong example of sometimes we need to face, yeah. And it's not a punishment. It's when and if you're ready. I'm not saying that's the answer. I'm saying there's a time and a place for that movement, yeah. There's a time and a place to say, okay, that happened. I carry it, I hold it, I honor it, I learn from it, I integrate it. Does that answer you, Rapson? As hard as it was to hear that?
Yeah, because I'm sitting here and it was just about few days, a few weeks ago, you know, that when I was in a state of crisis, chaos, and conflict, my family took away, maybe that's the word I could use, but according to them, there are certain things that they said I shouldn't.
Hello.
Yeah, yeah. So, uh, so that's my daughter. So there are certain things that they say that I shouldn't get access to. Being the firstborn of the family, so all those things were given to my sister, to my young sister, because according to them, they thought that I'd gone nuts, whatever that meant to them, whatever that looked like to them. So it's only now that they've realized that the kind of a person that they thought I would end up being is not the kind of a person that I am currently,
Right.
And that in most cases, they thought that they would never really come to me, even never, that's not what I thought, but of course, it was like they never thought that there would be a time that I'll be able to add value to whatever it is that they might be going through, and there are times when now, like they are coming, and then one of my family member, one of my uncle tells me that, the reason why those things were happening like this is because these people, this is the decision that they made. And I stood up and I said, no, this is not the way it should be. Despite him going through this phase, I think it really deserves to have, certain rights to some of these things. Yeah, so it's now that these are some of the things that are coming up for me. Like, yeah, why would they do such kind of a thing to me? And sometimes I feel like, going back in their face and now tell them to say, but why did you do these things? And sometimes I'm like, no, I don't want, I don't want the noise, I don't want the war. Let me just forget about it. Yeah. So there's like all these things like, am I running away from it? Or is it something that I just have to face and have a courageous conversation around it to say, okay, I've come to realize that there are decisions like this that were made, and I want us to have a conversation around it. Or maybe I just say, oh, yeah, the conversation is the past. Yeah. Because sometimes, yeah, it's getting to me like, oh, this is the guy who, this is the person who did this, Yeah, like, what do they think about my children? What do they think about my wife? What do they think about all these things? So, and I'm thinking, is it something that I just have to face, and talk about it? Like, oh, so you made this decision, so how do you feel now? And just have a conversation around it, or maybe I'm running away. So, that's the state in which I'm basically in. Yeah, because right, they see, Coach Rapson was on TV. Yeah, Coach Rapson was with the minister. Oh, Coach Rapson was with the president. Yeah, he's doing this. Yeah, he's doing what and what. So it's like, hey, let's go and share something with him. Hey, let's go to his house. Hey, let's go and sleep at his house. Hey, why we Coach Rapson? Yeah, I want this. And such kind of things. Like, there's people you thought, like, in other words, they thought that I'll never be sane. They thought that I'll never be known. They thought that I'll never be able to add value to anybody. They never thought that. In other ways, well, in a nutshell, my point is they took away my rights, as a firstborn, as the firstborn child of my dad, and then they took they give those blessings to my young sister. It's like, this guy is nuts. He's never going to do anything. Let's give it to the young sister. She's going to do things well and such kind of thing. And I didn't worry because I had love and respect for my young sister. But me, I didn't know because I was just like, oh yeah, it's fine. At least it will give me time to focus on other things, not knowing that there was something huge and and just something, that when I've come to discover them now, it just makes me feel like, hey, this is really my family that they could think such kind of things. It puts me in such kind of situation because I want to support, but when I remember those things again, it's yeah. So those are the things that I just thought of.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Let me say something to what I'm hearing. We're looking at the system and how the system behaves, and the rule. I don't even want to call them rules, but there's a system, and then there's how we meet that system. Yeah, there's a family system, and what works in the family system, and there's an approach and a time and a way to deal with that. Yeah, that we need to look at. And I also hear it's like when we come from addiction or there's been addiction, then we are excluded and rejected. It's very strong. And then we don't just get suddenly included. It's like it takes time and proving and work and finding our right place and belonging. And then we don't even have to fight for it. We know we belong and we have a place. Yeah. So there's many layers to this conversation you're bringing, yeah? Of how we stand in our place, regardless of what the family says, and how easily we so hurt each other in that family system. Eh? And the thing of exchange, that the exchange feels fair, can really hurt when the exchange doesn't feel fair. And on both sides, if I'm taking too much or I'm giving too much, on both sides, at a certain point, I'm the adult. I have to say, no, I stop giving, or no, I start giving, you know. So it's a fine line and family, it's not like going to the shop and buying an apple. With family, we suddenly have different layers of that. What's the value on something, yeah? So all of that is in this approach to the system. I don't know if I'm going way off topic, but can you hear some of what's being said, huh? Yeah. How are we doing? Wow, time is flying. It's 10 to 1, man. I just got started, yeah. I think we need to give time to check out. But let me say one thing about if someone's very in fight flight, then I need a lot more strength to meet and stand up to that fight flight. Yeah. It's not that I have to bully, but I have to know and feel my own strength to meet someone when they're in fight flight. I don't even have to say anything. I just have to sense and feel that I can be a proper mirror to that. Yeah. And that's already a lot. When someone is there who feels strong, then all right, someone else is here that's strong or that understands this fight flight movie, you know? That's a huge relief. And it gives the opportunity to have a real conversation. When someone's more in dorsal shutdown, it's like if anything you say that's vaguely, come on, try this, do that, why don't you do this? It's like, probably it's so easy. It's like a bigger, deeper contraction. Yeah. That's what happens, Roselle, what you're saying. It's like I say something and it just feels like, oh no, they just went further down the hole. Yeah. So in that movie, you really need to be able to say, I'm with you. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, I'm with you. You know, something as simple as that, and feel what happens. Yeah. So that line, and yeah, sometimes it needs a strength, but 90% of the time, if I come in too strong or too much frapping, or I see you in a hard place, it takes as long as it takes. And that gives permission to be where you are, and some curiosity comes to get out of it. Yeah. Do those 2 points help with some of those questions? And then how it's stored in the body is if you can imagine in your if you all just like if you feel your arm and hand and fist, yeah, you bring awareness to your arm, hand, fist. So in your hand, arm, fist, there's places that feel flowing and alive. There's places that feel stuck and tight. and there's places that I can't reach. There's places where it's numb or absent. Yeah. In my arm right now, I can feel some places flowing. I can feel places more tight. I can feel places more numb. So sometimes what we do is we amp up the tension. Just allow the tension to be here, that you make a fist and bring a lot of tension to your fist. Just I give it 60, 70, 80, that you increase tension and meet the tension. Yeah. Meet the tension that's here. So now you can feel how it goes up into the arm, and if you stay with that, it will go into your jaw and mouth and eyeballs, but there's tension here. And now instead of just letting it go, it's like if it's at 80, you want to go 75, 70, 65, 60, 55, 50, 45, 40. That slowly, you can allow this tension to go through your system, yeah? And what happens then is some of the tension is released and some of the numbness gets some life. Huh? You feel that? It's like a little more, the tension's more obvious, and whatever happens, it's an experiment, yeah? But sometimes in working with trauma, we need to meet and allow the tension, and we need to meet and allow the numbness, yeah? And that journey between the two is a big part of healing trauma, yeah, of allowing those two states. Yeah. Can we take an extra 5 minutes so we can relax for the checkout? Anyone that needs to go sooner? I'd love to hear some words. If you need to go sooner, please check out sooner. Just something you feel and something you learned, or taking any one, two things.
Okay, I'll go. I
Great,
really
come on.
appreciate, Rasada, your keeping this very simple. Actually, I've just really appreciated taking a just deep dive into, yeah, I just appreciate you simplifying this for us. Thank you.
Okay, now you feel.
I am tired. I'm going to go and have a nap.
Enjoy, rest. You want to pass it on to someone?
Yeah, I'll pass to P.
Thank you so much, Camilla. Wow, I love this practical learning. I really do, especially with the arm. It just makes sense. And once again, like I said before, it's not about removing or trying to fix. It's holding space, allowing, moving through. So thank you so much for holding this today. As I entered the room today, I just felt so heavy with the world, where I now even can face the world 80-22. So appreciate this. And I would like to tag Katie, please.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm first of all a little bit sad that we're coming to an end. I could keep going with this all day. I'm very, very full of gratitude. I've felt this space, and I've really felt it. And I have got a little bit of sadness actually as well, because I recognize I try and do this for people, but I recognize that not so many people do it for me, and I need to look at that. I need to look at that. So checking out with, as I say, a little bit of sadness, but such huge gratitude. I find these things so healing, so invigorating. I want to do more. I want to do more. So I will tag Charlie.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a great space this morning. I can always tell how well I am by the manner of my speech, and I feel so relaxed and checking out. Just I'm putting my hand on my stomach. That simplicity of putting my hand on my stomach and just feeling that, you know. And when I was doing that, I was just going, and I was just saying to myself, you know what, you're okay, Charlie, you're okay. And it's really having that trust in myself so that I can have the trust in other people. Actually, that's what I've took from this sacred space on a Saturday morning. And Rasad, I just want to thank you for agreeing to and do this. And I really do think that we should be doing more because I've took so much of this and is you basically said we could have went on and on and on. So it would be lovely to and do it again whenever you're free, whatever, I don't know, whenever the time is. But I just want to thank you, Emma, personally, and thank everyone else. Thanks very much. And I will pick my dear friend Rabson.
Thank you very much, Charlie. Yeah, I think when it comes to I think I'm getting out, a notion of insights with regard to some of the things that I've been able to learn on this platform, and especially on the polyvagal, yeah, the polyvagal theory. Amazing things to consider. Yeah, so I'm checking out with the high doses of gratitude and wisdom, and which I'm very much fully grateful. And yeah, at this particular moment, I would like to tag the one and only Paulo. Over to you. Thank you.
So much, Jackson. Excuse me. Yeah, I was going to say thank you, as always, Rasada. I've not been in a container where you've been present, where I haven't been gifted some kind of practical tool that I could use that is beneficial. So thank you for that. Um, Thank you so much, Charlie, for also getting involved and helping get this workshop into place. And as some of you will know, this is a very strange state for me to be in. I really don't know what to say. So I'm just going to leave it at thank you. I really appreciate you, Rasada. And thank you, Charlie, again for organizing it. And I will I'll go across to Anna.
Yeah, thanks everyone. I found this very interesting. I'm taking away a lot, but I think what stuck with me most is the 80-20. I found really interesting, and I keep thinking about the baby who feels emotion all like into their toes. I like that was really that really struck me. And I'm feeling a little bit emotional. I'm feeling a lot of sadness because yeah, I lost my fiance about a year and a half ago, and that's kind of coming back now. We were talking about grief. So I think I'm gonna have a good big ugly cry after this and then I'll move on. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling, but I'm also feeling very grateful. So thanks everyone. And I'm gonna tag Stephanie.
Thank you. I am checking out very informed and educated. I think I have been focusing on the spectrum of addiction so long and kind of missing the things that's underlined and linked into this. So this is very much for me the first time I've really looked at trauma things, and I find it very effective because it's a space that I find myself in at the moment, which is probably the best. Like somebody mentioned, it is to be okay with the things that are hidden and the things that are being revealed. I am just always, showing up willing to continuously develop. There's a lot of familiar faces in this container that I have seen get better as they keep on doing what they're doing. So I'm extremely grateful. Thank you for the people who's reached out to be of support from this container. I really appreciate that. I will make contact. So yes, I'm looking forward to see that where this will go, and I'm hoping that it will happen again. I am more grounded than a few minutes ago. Rasada, just the tone of your voice is something as a coach and as a professional that I really take to. So it's very inspiring, because in that chaotic space, things really can spiral quite quickly. And I think just the tone of your voice kept me grounded and present. So I'm very grateful for this container. I will tag Abby.
Yeah, thanks. Apart from my dashing around, Rasada, it's been really great. I've taken loads of notes that I'll go back over. I've been looking at IFS, so I've taken my focus off polyvagal, but they are so into, there are no bad parts. We love all our parts. We accept them all, and I found interesting how, someone can be in complete dorsal shutdown or anger and rage, and you can't just get back into ventral. You've got to go down the ladder. There's no hopping down the steps. You can't make a leap. And I think that's a really important thing to remember is the going down that ladder tentatively, and just the girl I've had recently, I didn't think I'd get down that ladder at all, and it was just through breathing. And we managed it. Anything else, she was just closed-minded to, but then once I got her there, she was like a different person after a while. But yeah, there's a lot to go yet. But yeah, just really grateful. Thanks for taking this time out. Love you loads, and look forward to doing more stuff with you, and hopefully see you in the morning.
Go for it, Roselle. Who's left?
Hi.
Roselle and Nick and
Charlie,
No, I'll vent.
and you've been Nick.
Okay.
Thanks,
Pam.
Abby. Thanks, Abby and Rasada, everybody else here, and Charlie for putting this on. Thank you so much. I've got a lot of takeaways here. The polyvagal nerve chart. Thanks for sharing that with me. Yeah, an awful lot to chew on, a lot to think about. I'm also reminded of a metaphor, an analogy of a teacher who stands in front of the class holding up a glass full of water and asking the class, how much does this weigh? And the kids say, well, that's 300 grams, 500 grams, 800 grams, whatever it is. And he says, well, it's all relative. It depends on how long I hold it up for. If I hold this up the whole day, it's going to be a flipping heavy, and my whole arm's going to ache, my whole body's going to ache. And that's a great metaphor for how we're holding on to trauma, how we're holding on to grief, how we're holding on to whatever it is. It's put it down, sit with it. And it's it's a wonderful metaphor. Anyway, that's my parting little metaphor. I will
Thank you, Nick.
tag who's not been. Roger?
Oh, hey, yeah, I got a lot of information, and also listening to everybody speaking and stuff like that. And you know what? A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with extreme PTSD and borderline personality disorder and all the other disorders that all comes along with extreme PTSD. So today was very informative for me, and I'm very grateful to have been here today. And also just listening to everyone. And also knowing that, you know what, I'm gonna be okay. Because I mean, I had to make peace with my past. My past was the only thing still holding me back. and I couldn't just move forward. So, like I said earlier on, I'm a very cool, calm, and collective person these days. And today was just a reminder as to why I need to just keep moving forward. Why I can't keep looking back anymore. And that's all about moving forward for me, like right now. And also as a coach, as a leader, as somebody that works with a lot of young people, like the youth that you're in the community, I can't allow my past to take over my life anymore. I mean, it's just like I can't. Because I know in the past it led to me to go and use it, led to me to go and become suicidal, things like that. So I'm happy with my life these days. I'm happy with the community over here. I'm happy for meeting new people on the here today. So yeah, I'm just grateful right now. Very, very grateful. Um, yeah. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
Who
Roger.
didn't go here?
Roselle, thank you so much.
Thank you, Roger. Thank you, Rasada. Thank you, Charlie. And thank you, everyone, for participating. What I got was I loved the collective consciousness. I think that was a beautiful message. I think when you were working with Stephanie and Charlie, in terms of like that intention, that energetic exchange, I think that's really powerful. It was nice to be reminded of that. I also another takeaway was I loved what Nick said about the anxiety doesn't like a moving target. I thought that was a really excellent message. And I think for me around the dysregulation and the co-regulation, I think that was a big takeaway and a big aha for me. And I think also just kind of the swing between vagal and dorsal, and just kind of like, oh wow, you can't actually forget the central part. So it was like zero to hero or vice versa. So there was a sort of a sobering up moment for me that kind of happened in that going, fuck, it's all or nothing. It's like fetal position or I've got my butterfly wings on and everything is beautiful. So yeah, no, I feel very grounded, very happy. It's interesting because I was moving a lot at the start of the session, because I had things I needed to do because of my circumstances, but it didn't interrupt my ability to listen. I was still in my center, which was nice. And I also love the rose and the sword. Oh, yeah, that's beautiful. So I do feel like a bit of a rose and the sword. So thank you so much for a wonderful, wonderful container. It was dynamic. Lots of lessons, lots of love. Thank you, Rasada.
Beautiful. I think that's all of us, no? I had to
And
finish
how
this.
about you? Your checkout?
Yeah, let me finish. I'm deeply touched. I want to thank my many teachers and David Collins and my morning group that I sometimes join here with my friends. That really holds me and helps me. And I'm learning to trust my pace and my learning and my knowing, and that I'm deeply touched that there's so much to share and people receptive. And there is something, it's like I want to acknowledge Rapson and his know your mind, or own your mind. It's like when you really own your mind, or when you've got more and more awareness, then there's something that doesn't have to go so through all the journey, When you're fully in awareness, you can spot it and it dissolves, yeah? So I don't want this to sound like the thing about this work is you don't have to do every trauma, every piece and regurgitate everything. And we just need to kind of, hopefully my simplicity has helped you get that if we just understand the mechanism, you can heal a lot of trauma really quickly. Yeah. When you own your mind, you can heal a lot of things very quickly. And I feel super grateful to all of you. And for sure, Charlie will bend my arm and I'll do it again.
Thank you. Thank you, Rasada. I've just watched a pod of dolphins just pass.
Wow, wow,
Just
wow,
watched a
wow,
pod of
wow.
dolphins just walking by.
That's the sign, eh? Awesome, guys. Blessings.
Take care, everyone. Have a lovely Saturday.
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
so much, everybody. Bye bye bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Much.
Cheers. Thank you, guys. Cheers,
Thank
brother.
you.
See you
Thank you,
soon.